When did life stop being fun? When did the fun in your life suddenly go out of the things that used to be fun, that used to bring you joy, that used to bring you all the excitement? When did that stop being fun? This has come up in a few conversations this week with people that I've talked to, and I thought I would just address some of the things that I think about it in this video. So if it sounds like something you'd like to listen to, stay tuned. My name is Suze. I'm an intuitive life coach, and I'm in the process of becoming my authentic me, whatever that happens to mean. It means a lot of different things to a lot of people. But I realised that through a lot of my life, I wasn't being me because I didn't really know who me was. And so in my late 40s and early 50s, I've given myself the chance to find those aspects of me that I'd like to explore to see who I really am. And I like to share that on the channel to hopefully inspire other people to find their true, authentic, real self that they're growing into so that they can be more of that in the world and live a happier life. So the conversation of when did it stop being fun? I've talked to so many people this week who have had issues with things that used to be fun, that used to be exciting, that they used to look forward to, that used to give them a hit of whatever it is that it gives you a hit of, aren't fun anymore. And I'd like to explore that a little bit deeper by saying, did you suck the fun out of those things? Or were those things simply coping mechanisms or ways that you were delaying having to do stuff, delaying having to feel stuff, delaying having to face stuff? And if that's the case, what does that mean? So we can do lots of things to delay or to numb stuff that we don't really want to deal with. And they can start off being fun, and they can be habits and habitual things that look on the surface to be really great for us. You know, I've seen people who have started a health journey or have started going to the gym and all that sort of thing, and it's been fun and exciting and wonderful, and then it's become so strict and strong and like religious almost that they can't stray from any one part of the step, or they then feel unworthy and like they've failed. And so then all of a sudden what was really healthy and beautiful and helping them to be happy and giving them something great to look forward to became such a chore and such a thing with the life sucked out of it that it just became the absolute opposite of what it started out to be. And I've seen people who are doing things and they're wonderful and exciting, but by keeping busy with those sorts of things, that's also helping them to run from emotions, run from situations, run from things, hard conversations. I don't know. I'm just going through some of the things in my mind that I realise that I used to do in my 20s and 30s when stuff got hard, when life got hard, when things felt uncomfortable. Some of the stuff that I used to do that was fun to start with, that then the fun sucked out of, because, I don't know, sometimes when you are numbing, when you are using something as a crutch, you need more and more of it to satisfy that part of you that it used to satisfy. And so I think of alcohol and drugs as a thing. And I'm not just talking about hard drugs, but any drugs. You know, if you're on a drug for long enough, your system can become, I don't know, used to it, can work itself around it. And suddenly you need more and more of that medication, that drug, that thing to help you to get the same benefit that you got in the beginning when it was a new thing for you. Alcohol can be like that. Hard drugs can be like that. Pornography can be like that. Shopping can be like that. Gaming can be like that. All right. So it can be any number of things. And so sometimes we can use things in our lives too that are looking like they're going to benefit our future, or like they're going to benefit our health or benefit our financial things. We can use those and have the great aspect and aspirations of what it is, but the reason behind it, that we're doing it, is not actually what it looks like, and then all of a sudden it tips over. Is that making sense so far? I know I used to game a lot in my 20s and 30s. When stuff got too hard, I would sit down and I would play Candy Crush, or I would get on and play Mario, or I would get on and play, I don't know, any number of things, of games, because that way I could focus myself on that and just forget about everything that was going on within me. And it was supposed to be just for that 10 or 15 minute break, but like hours would go by and it would be brilliant. But then at the end of it, when I'd finished all of those housework I was avoiding, problems I was avoiding, situations I was avoiding, thoughts I was avoiding would come back, right? And hit. And that hit harder because not only now did I have those original things to deal with, but I had the guilt of I've just spent 5 hours gaming or 3 hours gaming, or I've just stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning and now tomorrow I'm going to be wrecked. Or I would go away and I would shop and I would buy stuff and I would buy more stuff, and the next fortnight or month we would go away again for the day and I would buy stuff and buy stuff. And I didn't realise at the time what that was. It wasn't until I packed up my house to move from one side of the country in Australia to the other that I went through my cupboards and found all of the things that I had bought and not used, that it really, really clicked for me. Holy cow, Suze, why were you doing this? It was the thrill of the shopping and the thrill of the getting the thing and thinking, oh, I needed that new thing. And half the time it would come home and sit in the cupboard or get used once and sit in the cupboard, adding to my stress of stuff and clutter, adding to my financial stress of that was on a credit card and now I've got to pay that $300 of that thing off that I'm not even using. Do you see where I'm going? They looked good. They were things that would help me. They were things that would do, but I was doing it because I was just wanting that hit of, what is it, dopamine that it gave me in the initial thing. But the thing was, I needed more of that all of the time. It happened too with gambling. It happened too with, I don't know, avoidant behaviours. I'd find a good book and that'd be great, but I'm not the sort of person who could just read 15 or 20 minutes of that book. And suddenly I would find that I was staying up till 3 o'clock reading that book because it was a great way to forget about reality. So some of the things that start out good and start out as something that is really good for us, that give us a break, that give us a reset, that give us a chance to be away from whatever it is, or give us just a chance to rest our brain, can become a crutch and a habit, and then become an addiction to avoidance. So I have seen a lot of people this week, back to the original conversations I've had, of people saying, oh, I don't know why I'm not enjoying that anymore. And I wonder if we've sucked the fun out of it, right? If we've used the fun aspect of it that we had to then switch over into becoming the thing to numb out to. So suddenly we've taken that little hit of excitement and that little thing that we look forward to in the day, and we've made it a regimental thing, or we've made it something that now has overtaken our life, and it becomes the very thing that then we're going to have to numb out from with something else. So we need fun things in our life though, and as adults we don't often prioritise fun or excitement, or we over prioritise it at the expense of all the other things that I've just talked about. So it's finding that balance. And I believe that if you can take something out of your life for a week and not do it for a week and let yourself, you'll go through, it's like when I gave up Facebook. Wow, the amount of times I reached for my phone in that first 48 hours was insane. I didn't realise how much I was just going to Facebook. Why? Because I had stuff going on in my life that I didn't want to deal with. And so the less time that my brain had to actually focus on the silence was better for me, and so that became my crutch. So in that week, that first initial week of giving up Facebook, after that initial 48 hours, I was able to sort of sit in the thoughts and become a little bit more comfortable with that, and realise that what used to be a great fun thing and a way to catch up with people had actually become a tool for me to forget about life, and it was becoming over the top. And so sometimes having something removed for a week is the way to go. So stop doing that thing that used to be fun and isn't fun anymore. Opt out for a week. Make the conscious choice that you are an adult, and for 7 days you are not going to engage in that thing, do that thing in any way, shape or form. And during that week you will find sometimes it feels like a weight has been lifted off you. And then you can explore that and work out what that's about. Because as I said, some habits are great and they are brilliant and they start out in a positive way, but then they can take on a very negative way of your life because then they take over in a negative way. So once you do that, you can sort of work out how you can dial back to what was it like when it was fun? How was I doing it? How was I viewing it? How was it in my life? And how was the fun? Why did I look forward to it? And sometimes we look forward to things that we only have a short amount of time to do, that we only do once a week, once a month, once a fortnight, twice a year, whatever it is. And it's actually the excitement of looking forward to it, more so than the doing of the thing. But we chase that feeling all the time. And so what we do by doing it more regularly, we take the fun and excitement and exclusivity out of that thing. Or, by another stretch, we can make that thing something that it's not, and we can blow it all out of proportion and put all of these weights and things on that thing that it needs to be. This, and this. And it was never meant to be all those things, and suddenly the weight is on you of that thing because it's not living up to the expectations or the things that you wanted it to live up to. I hope that all of this is making sense. It's really hard to put into words some of the ways that things affect us and try and be generalised and not too specific, but also broad enough for people to be able to see and then run with that and work out how this could be happening in your life. Now, I always talk about the Taylor Swift problem, that Taylor Swift song, "Hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me." And, while that is an interesting song in and of itself, we quite often don't like to admit that we are the problem. I know for 40 years of my life, I never wanted to admit I was the problem. I didn't ever think really that I was the problem. And 9 times out of 10, the commonality in my problems was me. So somewhere along that line, I was the problem in some way, shape or form. So once I started life coaching training and I learnt about all of these other things and ways to look at stuff, I realised that we can never change a problem. We can never change a situation. We can never grow from something and do things differently if we don't take our own, I say blame, but I don't like that word. If we don't fully own our part in something, right? And if you are always saying, if only they would do that, I would be this. If only that situation was different, I'd be that. If only I had an extra $1,000 a month, I'd be this. Right. Well, putting it out there and hoping and wishing and praying that it's just going to knock on the door and change is not going to happen. So let's stop waiting for the Uber guy to deliver your thing, your next thing that's going to make you feel better. And let's just start owning the fact that, right, how can I own this? Because once you own something, once you take ownership of it, you are able to then make the changes necessary. Because if we live our life and expect and wait on other people to change, that person might change, but then another circumstance changes, and then it's all the things. And we're constantly waiting for everything to be at the right place for us to do X, Y, Z. And I don't know, I've lived nearly 54 years of life, and I realised that there's never an ideal anything. There's never a day where everything lines up just perfectly and you can sit and think, yep, there you go. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? So we have to take ownership of the ways that we are contributing to our own misery, our own problems, our own weights, our own disenjoyment of life. Is disenjoyment a word? And work out how can we take control of that and put some more in. The reason we don't like to do it though is because sometimes we don't like to be wrong in our situation. We don't like to think that we are bad because we've done something. We don't like to take ownership also because sometimes that means we have to have hard conversations or make some hard judgments about ourselves and change things that are really hard. So I just wanted to make this video about that, just to say, hey, you're okay, you're doing good. You are just using your situations to give you things that they are never meant to give you. And once you can adjust the view, adjust everything, work out why things are happening, sit and deal with it, and then restructure things differently, you'll find that the joy and the fun will come back into your life. And then that has a momentous effect, a snowball effect that helps you then start to enjoy even the little mundane things or the things that you don't like so much, because you're not constantly running, feeling tired, expecting things to give you what they are not meant to give you. All right, thank you for joining me today. I hope that this has been helpful. If you know of someone that you think this might help, please pass the video along. And if you'd like more of this sort of stuff, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment anything that you feel may have brought up for you, or that it may have helped you with, or something that you'd like me to talk about in the future. I'd love to do that. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Suze from Smarting Coaching. Have a most magnificent day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.